Well, good afternoon. Now that it is that we are hearing talk of a landing zone with reference the protocol bill, and things are hotting up. We're coming towards the October timeframe, in where that we had already predicted that this landing zone would be pushed into place. Now, what is the landing zone, you ask? The landing zone is the protocol bill, and whilst that some politicians and various parties here in Northern Ireland, whilst that they would suggest that they are not up for this protocol bill, well, it appears that they have already, in principle, signed up to green lanes for goods coming to Northern Ireland. They have signed up to red lanes for checks and goods destined for the EU, and they have also signed up to trusted trader scheme in principle. And what you're about to see over the next in the coming weeks is that one by one the parties will be falling into place. The EU will agree, and Northern Ireland, make no mistake, will be separated from the rest of the United Kingdom permanently. A permanent lifting of the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland and placed at Larne, at Belfast, and in Warrenpoint. So, what I would like to do is I would like to play a short pre recorded video in order that people can understand fully what this landing zone is, what it entails, and who potentially is going to push this separation, this permanent separation of Northern Ireland from England, Scotland, and Wales. So enjoy, people, as this video would play. Something that has already been agreed from way, way back. And then there is the charade, there is a pantomime, there is I'm just going to say, window dressing to make people believe that it was never agreed and they never intending doing this. Well, this is exactly where they wanted to land. The clue is in the name. It's a landing zone. Just a few days ago, Doug Beattie on our radio, on our press, he had said, well, we've been hovering around this landing zone for quite some time. Isn't it time that we landed? We just got a new Secretary of State here in Northern Ireland. And just in the last few days, well, he is now quoting those words again. We're now hearing the putting back in place, the using of this terminology. We're now hearing landing zone being used again. Just to recap on what the landing zone is. The landing zone is the protocol bill. The landing zone it's a green channel for goods coming to Northern Ireland, in where the British government are going to perform checks and supply the EU with some data on the goods coming to Northern Ireland. The landing zone is where that Puts has already stated that Puts posts can remain, and that Puts would perform checks on goods in a red channel. Coming from England, Scotland, and Wales to Northern Ireland, Puts would perform the checks on goods destined to the EU. But this border, people, wiki, this border is between us in Northern Ireland and our brothers and sisters in the rest of the United Kingdom. This is the landing zone to which that they're trying to persuade you that it's a good thing, when it's not, when it's the breakup of the United Kingdom in its embryonic form. And we have to keep pressing home that message that this isn't restoring the UK, that our job wouldn't be done with a protocol bill, that this isn't, as some would have said, this isn't like a staging post. Let me explain something. Anything that we ever give as unionists, it's lost and gone forever. We never get it back. We get one chance to negotiate, and if we negotiate this wrong, if we end up continuously linked to the EU single market, if we end up with a form of border in the North Channel with green lanes, with trusted trader schemes, with red channels, with checks on goods in Larne, Belfast, and Warrenpoint, well, that's it. That's it forever. We never get this back. That is, call it a tug of war. That is the Irish republicanism. That is the Irish nationalists. That is this new Ireland having pulled unionism a huge way across the line. And we aren't going back to the place from where we came. So we get one chance to get this right. Our politicians are getting only one chance to get this right, and we can't let them get this wrong. So we're here to plead with people. We're here to ask people to stand with us, against our politicians if necessary, in order to impress upon them the need to protect the rest of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland is the main battlefront right now against globalization, against the breakup of the United Kingdom. We are, the front. We're the front line in this battle, and it's down to us, people, like our forefathers in the past. Those that would have given themselves to stand against totalitarianism in the past. In 1914, we had the same circumstances facing us. And some people from within our community, well, they felt so strongly back then. Let's take you back to 1912. Let's take you back to September the 28th in 1912, in where the people from right around the province of Northern Ireland, what they did was that they went and signed a covenant. And in that covenant, well, we will be doing a documentary. We hope to release that documentary come next week. Might run a wee bit later, but that documentary is going to be all about the people, the men of Ulster, the women of Ulster, the people of Ulster, doing the right thing and standing up for Northern Ireland at a time of aggression from what was to become the Irish state, whenever there was a third Home Rule Bill being thrust upon the people of Northern Ireland, being signed up to by the Conservative government in Westminster, and at a time whenever we were potentially going to be part of this all-Ireland approach, in where the Home Rule would be thrust upon us, where we would be governed from Ireland, separated from the rest of the United Kingdom. And some people from within our community, well, firstly, they got together, they signed the covenant on the 20th of September in 1912. And it progressed from that point to then, in where that a few good men decided that Ulster needed to protect itself. They needed to protect themselves from this aggression from what was to become the Irish state some 7 years later. So what they did was that they got together, they raised some money from right around Northern Ireland, and what they did was that they decided to bring in the means by which that they could defend themselves. Now, this is the documentary roughly that we are doing. And in 1914, at Larne, at Donaghadee, and at Bangor, there was a ship called the Clyde Valley. And, Carson, his army, the people surrounding Carson, they decided that they would bring in the means by which that they could defend themselves against this third Home Rule Bill. And they landed a huge cache of weapons at Larne, at Donaghadee, and in Bangor. Those were the men of Ulster back in 1914 that, well, they weren't going to be the generation that would allow Northern Ireland to be taken away from the rest of the United Kingdom. Let's remember something. And, whenever that we were doing this documentary, this is what stuck out to me, is that we didn't decide to leave the rest of the British Isles. We didn't decide to leave our brothers and sisters in England and Scotland and in Wales. It was what became the Free State. It was what was known as the Republic of Ireland after the 1921 period. They decided to partition. It wasn't us that decided to partition from them. No one complained. They were allowed to have it. They partitioned. And now that they've partitioned, how dare they try to take Northern Ireland away from the brothers and sisters in England and Scotland and in Wales? And here we are, under the same aggression from the same Irish state, wanting to remove Northern Ireland from England, Scotland, and in Wales and placate it. And I say this without any apology, placated by the Conservative government.